So we're coming to you with another episode of Self-Care Prescriptions with Dr. Robin Gobin. And today we're talking about self-care on the go. Why self-care on the go? Because everyone seems to be on the go, going somewhere, whether it's going to work, whether it's going to church, whether it's going to the club. Everybody seems to be on the go. So Dr. Robin, we want to talk to you about self-care while being on the go. So the floor is yours.
Thanks. So I think it's really important for us to think about self-care on the go because, as you said, even if we're not traveling out of town or out of the country, we're still on the go. We're still on the commute. And so it's important for us to think about that we can incorporate self-care during those times that we're on the go, whether we're driving in our car or we're on the bus or, we're riding with someone else. We can always think of ways to incorporate self-care. And so I think one of the main things that you can do if you are commuting for work is to think about what kind of mood do you want to get in for work, because the commute can be a great time to boost your energy. Maybe you woke up and you just weren't feeling it today and you're feeling tired, so you can actually think about, like, what do I need to get me to feel in the mood that I need to feel, or what do I need to do to get my energy up? Maybe you can listen to some music that's inspirational or motivational or something that's going to get you really hype and ready to conquer the day, or maybe you need to listen to a motivational podcast.
So let's pause for the cause right there, Doc, because I think this is going to be important to you people. You say getting your playlist right is important.
Yeah.
So what's on your playlist right now?
What's on my playlist right now? Well, I do like Drake.
Drake. Okay. Yeah, what's a Drake song you like?
Well, it's the Chris Brown and Drake song. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I like that one. I like the smooth, the rhythm, the beat of it.
All right, we're going off here, but we're gonna get back on the self-care on the go. So you get your playlist right. So you want something smooth. So you're going to little Drake and Chris Brown for smooth. Say you ready to get amped up. You ready to work out. What we running on the treadmill to?
Oh, this is a hard one. There's a lot, but when I last was consistent with running on the treadmill, I was listening a lot to Kendrick Lamar. I really like that.
Okay. Yeah. So Kendrick Lamar, I got you.
Again, more Drake too.
More Drake.
Migos. That's what it was. Yeah. Especially like when I was on the Stairmaster, I would love Walk and Talk It.
Okay.
Walk and Talk It.
Walk and Talk It. Migos. I got you. So self-care, a form of self-care when on the commute is your playlist, because your playlist is going to help you develop the energy you need for the day, whether you want to be, move, in a low mood, like low key, if you're trying to get like just simple, or if you're trying to get amped up, you need to figure
like if you're
out.
trying to get grounded, if your day is going to be full of things that you need to really concentrate on, so you need to be present, maybe your playlist is going to help you do that. Maybe you listen to more like low vibes, or if you need to really kind of be energetic, you need to be talking in front of people, maybe you need a playlist that's going to get you amped up and get you excited, make you feel really confident and like you can conquer the world. So you can utilize your commute to get you to start feeling those vibes that you want to feel and take into your workplace.
Okay, so we get the vibes right. We got the playlist going. So now we got a little additive to help us conquer the day for how we want our day to play out.
Exactly. And that's an act of self-care, because you're asking yourself, how do I want to feel today? What energy level do I need? What mood do I need to conquer the day today, given the things that are on my to-do list for the day at work? And then you can set yourself up for success by getting yourself in that mood, by listening to some music, or like I said, a podcast. A lot of times that's really inspirational, because podcasts address all kinds of topics. And so if it's something that you're really interested in or excited about, that can be a way to utilize your commute to fit in some self-care and do that in a way that's going to help you feel better about the day, or just get a great start to your day. And maybe you need some creativity or you need some inspiration for the day, and a podcast can be a great way to give you new ideas for solving different problems that you have, or new perspectives on life.
Got it. So we're listening, podcast, shameless plug, listen to the self-care prescriptions, share it, tell a friend. If not, any podcast you listening to out there, anything that motivates you via podcast?
Yeah, I really love F Perfect podcast with Ashley Looker and Jenna Teague. It's all about like just not trying to be perfect in your life, but recognizing that we are all imperfect and that's what makes us beautiful. So they talk about all different types of ways that we can just embrace being imperfect and not try to like live up to unrealistic standards of perfectionism. So I love that. Again, that's F Perfect podcast. I really love the Champagne Diet podcast by Kara Alalawebe. I think that's how you say her last name. But anyway, she is all about like boss women and helping them like boss up and kind of overcome fears and insecurities to kind of go take yourself to your next level. So I really love her podcast as well.
I got you. So I'm feeling the podcast, but it seems more women related. So hit me something that I might want to listen to. A men need self-care and self-love. So hit me with something that's unisex or something that men can feel.
Unisex. I don't know. I really listen to podcasts that are more geared towards women. So this is the thing. Maybe you should start listening to podcasts and find some podcasts that are really geared towards men and helping them kind of be their best selves. Yeah. Okay. And then maybe you can find a podcast that's more gender neutral or more geared towards men, because nothing really is coming to mind now. But there are just tons. If you go on Apple Podcasts, like there are so many different podcasts, and you can type in like, what are you looking for? Are you looking for productivity? Are you looking for inspiration? Are you looking for better ways to solve problem solving? So whatever it is that you're looking for, I'm sure there's a podcast for it. So I would just say go into Apple Podcasts, just Google whatever the topic is that you're interested in hearing more about, and you'll probably find tons of podcasts to choose from.
Gotcha. So I'm gonna show and prove that I'm actually a long time listener, because I'm listening to you here now and I actually listen and follow what you say. You said that you need to be, basically direct and pinpoint the way you want your mood to be. So whether you want to be productive today, whether you want to be low key today, or whether you want to be amped up, you figure out and be direct with what you want to be, so you can now get your podcast right to get your mind right, or you can actually get your playlist right so you can stay within that mood as far as taking care of yourself for the day.
Yeah, and those are just two examples, music and podcasts, but there are other things that you can do to get yourself in the right mind frame. Like maybe it's after you park at work, or the stop right before the bus stop that you're going to get off on, or the train stop right before the train stop that you're going to get off on. Is it taking a deep breath, maybe really kind of grounding yourself and getting yourself ready for the day? Or maybe it's imagery and imagining how your day is going to unfold, or mentally walking yourself through maybe a meeting that you have to have today and the various things that people might say and how you might practice responding to it. So it's doing whatever you feel like you need to do, but that requires awareness, mindfulness, kind of being aware of what's in stock for me today, what's up for me today, and then what do I need to conquer those things that I have on my to-do list for today. So it's just about getting yourself in that mood that you need to be in to perform at your best at your job.
So breathe in, breathe out, and practice a little I wish I would.
No. You practice responding effectively. If it's a conversation that you think might be a little tense, how can you practice patience during that conversation? How can you rehearse in your head what you might say to that person if you want to set boundaries during that conversation? So yeah, you can prepare yourself so that you're not like caught off guard, or you haven't thought about how you want to be portrayed, regardless of what they're gonna say. How do you want the conversation to go?
So it's okay to practice and play out what's going to happen, to play out the different variables, and to be devil's advocate and to think positive and negative when doing self-care.
Yeah. And I think too, another thing that I just thought about, I don't know where this came from, but also like planning to eat. I know we talked about this before, but it's so important, like planning for your breaks. Like, what are you going to do during your breaks at work? I know sometimes you take a lunch break, but maybe you take 15-minute breaks outside of your lunch break. And so what do you need during those times to really keep you amped up and keep you motivated at work?
So self-care, just a regular skill in life. You say you plan what you want to eat, right? Mm-hmm. Have women figured out what they want to eat?
Sometimes we do.
Okay.
And sometimes it takes us a little time to figure out. It takes you time to really figure out what you have a taste for. Okay. And so that's an opportunity for men to exercise patience as we are figuring out what we want. And it's really an invitation to collaborate. we don't want to just set the tone and say what we want. We want to hear your input, and then we'll let you know whether that meets our standards or not of what we want to eat.
Okay, I got you. So a little patience, but also with the women being in part of self-care, being direct of what they really truly want to eat and not beating around the bush. So I got you. Think about it. Play the different.
It's about them being honest. That's what they're doing. They're being honest and saying, I really don't know what I want to eat, but the things that you're saying are not the things that I really want to eat right now. So they do know what they don't want. It's just about them then figuring out through process of elimination what actually do I want.
Okay, so playing out different things, breathing in, breathing out, proper breathing techniques, listening to podcasts, listening to music. So we got a good little list of things going on here. Any more tips that you can hit us with for self-care on the go?
Yeah, for self-care on the go, I think another piece that's really important too is focusing on what you can control, because I know whether it's traveling out of the country, out of the town, if you have to go through an airport, or whether it's just driving in traffic or taking the bus, and maybe a bus stop is, you know, taking longer than it should, or the train is taking longer than it should. What can you do to kind of focus on what I can control? Because if you're just focused on the traffic and, you know, how backed up it is and getting yourself worked up and amped up, you're going to set yourself up to go into a meeting or go into work already kind of like irritated or frustrated with the attitude. So what can you control? Focus on what you can control. So what I can control is, now that I have this extra time in the car that I wasn't planning for, how can I use this time to get me to feel the way that I want to feel? Or if you know that there's the propensity for there to be traffic, if you live in a town or in a city where there's a lot of traffic, then can you leave earlier so that you prepare yourself, so that you're not kind of putting yourself at risk to be frustrated and be late for work? Because I think that's a lot where the tension gets, is I'm going to be late. But if you plan a little bit ahead of time and leave a little bit earlier and not get so frustrated about the traffic, but again, focus on what can I control. So if you go to the airport and the line is long, that's something that you really don't have control over. But what you do have control over is what you do with that time and what you choose to focus on during the when you're waiting.
All right, so got a little problematic here. So let's check in now, because we're in the nest. You told me to get in. I'm riding in my car, riding to work. So I get in, I get my playlist right. I got the Migos going. So I'm a little amped up, you know, typical me. I'm trying to drive my car in the car in front of me. Being mindful, right? That's mindful and self-care, caring about self.
So well, how is trying to drive the car in front of you?
Because you got to predict when he gonna turn, if he gonna speed up, slow down, if you need to stay behind him, if you need to get over. So in my mind, it's a little self-care. Just go with it. So we got the self-care going. We got the playlist going. I'm hearing some good Migos music here, and I'm getting amped up, right? And so he jamming on brakes, and he ain't driving the way I think he should be driving, right? I'm probably gonna
what do you
give him that energy that he need to get over. He need to do something different.
So in that situation, what do you have? What can you control? You can't control how he's driving, but what can you control?
I can get on the horn and hit the horn and control that he should get over, or should I? How should I handle that when I'm not pleased with his driving?
You can change lanes so you can get in another lane so you don't even have to worry about driving behind him. I think sometimes we get so caught up in making somebody else fall in line with how we want them to fall in line. But the truth is, you really can't control how they're driving their car. So either you can get over in another lane and drive behind someone else, or you can choose to shift your attitude and just kind of focus on the pros of the situation, or the positive in the negative, which is you get some extra time in your car. If you're a music lover, if you're a podcast lover, whatever you like to do, you can have extra time in your car.
So practice a little patience and just really truly focus on what you can control. And valid point, you made it make sense to me. I can't drive that man's car or woman's car in front of me, so why trip and be caught up on what they're doing versus just saying, hey, It is what it is. And a lot of people, they hate saying that, because that's the term a lot of people say they don't like saying, is it is what it is. But in this case, I can't control it. It ain't gonna help me get to my destination any quicker. So focus on what I can control, which is being in the traffic and getting through the traffic to get my day on the road, but not to let that bother the rest of my day.
Exactly, not to let it spill over into the rest of your day. And I think being flexible and really focusing on what you can control is important when you're traveling, like air travel too, because there's so many things that when you go out of town and you're not staying at your regular residence that are outside of your control. So going to the hotel, and I experienced this one time that I went for a conference, they didn't have my reservation right, and so that's something that I couldn't control, or getting in a room that's not clean properly and not being able to control that. I think one really important piece for me is like I enjoy getting a certain amount of fruits and vegetables every day, and when you travel you never know what the restaurants are going to have that are around your hotel, and so really focusing on, okay, how can I be intentional about getting the things that I want to get in? So maybe it requires me, I even started at one point packing my food with me and cooking my food ahead of time and taking it with me, because it's like, again, self-care is about what do I need to be at my best. And I know, like, of course I can indulge and eat a hamburger and french fries one time, but if I do that every day while I'm out of town, eventually I'm going to get sluggish, and that's going to impact the way that I'm able to be present. It's going to impact my sleep. It might make me feel a little bit upset in my stomach. So thinking about, again, how can I control what I can't control? I can't control what restaurant options are going to be around the hotel or what kind of fruits and vegetables they're going to have, but I can control maybe packing my own so that I can have the snacks that I know that make me feel healthy and really fuel my body while I'm out of town. I can control, even though I'm not sleeping in my own bed or I'm not able to go to my home gym, I can utilize the gym at the hotel, and that's something that kind of keeps me going, that makes me feel good, that I can take care of myself with while I'm on the go.
Gotcha. So these are some very practical, on-the-go tips for when you're traveling, and they actually make sense to me. And the main thing that you said is just patience, and really, truly, it's basic. Control what you can control, and don't worry about what you can't control.
Yeah, focus on what you can control, because I think a lot of times we underestimate what we can control. And a lot of times in the situations, if you're able to think creatively, there are a lot of things that are in your control. It's just about you thinking about it and then putting an action plan together to tackle it.
Well, there we go. There we have it. Self-care on the go. Is there anything else you want to leave us with before we go?
I would say maintain when you're traveling out of town in particular, but I think even when just day to day, when you're commuting back and forth to work, it's so important. I've talked about this, sleep. I feel like a broken record, but it's so important that we get enough sleep. And one thing that can help you get the sleep that you need is having a nighttime routine, a routine that kind of helps you. Basically, a nighttime routine helps to alert your body that it's time to go to sleep. So maybe brushing your teeth, taking a warm shower, drinking some tea, reading a book, doing some light reading, turning down the lights, turning out the TV. Is giving your body all of these signals that it's time for you to go to sleep. And so that can be really useful. I think, again, if you're at home every day going to work, at night at some point you have to go to sleep. So finding a consistent time that you get in the bed, that you start to do your nighttime routine and then get in the bed. But then also when you're traveling out of town for work, making sure, because everything else is so different. You're not sleeping in your bed. The surroundings are unfamiliar. So the thing that you can control and be in charge of is making sure that you get enough sleep so you're rested and relaxed enough for doing whatever you need to do while you're traveling.
Got it. And for those that don't have a routine, can they reach out to you so you can help them develop a routine? Oh, yeah,
definitely. I would love that. Yeah, it's all about, again, the purpose of a nighttime routine is just getting your body ready to go to sleep and giving your body subconsciously those signals that say, it's time to go to sleep. It's time to go to bed, helping your body actually start to calm down and relax.
Got it. Well, we really, truly appreciate you for this self-care on the go, and for the good tips on what you're listening to on your playlist. And we truly will like that. And hopefully others will comment on what's on their playlist. So
I would love that. I need some new inspiration, some new music to be listening to. So I would love that.
And if we got any guys listening to the podcast, share us other podcasts that you may well listen to that are unisex or for men. So
yes,
so
you can start listening.
We want to make it for everyone to listen to them. So hit us with that, and Once again, we appreciate you, Doc, and we look forward to the next episode.
Sounds good. Take care.
Thank you for taking better care of you and for listening to another episode of Self-Care Prescriptions. Stay connected and tuned up with Dr. Robin Gobin. Visit robingobin.com or follow us on all platforms at Dr. Robin Gobin. Stay healthy and stay balanced with Self-Care Prescriptions.